Imagine waking up tomorrow, not because you want to, but because your bank account decides you have to. Every alarm clock, every commute, every Monday, every "I'll do it next year." Quietly pulling the strings of your life. Most people believe the rat race is about income. They think escaping it simply means earning more money. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Millions of people earning six figures are still trapped. They own bigger houses, drive newer cars, take better vacations. Yet every month begins with the same fear. What if the paycheck stops? Because the real prison isn't built with low salaries. It's built with habits. Invisible habits. Habits that feel normal because everyone around you does the same thing. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Today, we are uncovering 12 of those habits. Some may seem harmless. Some might even feel responsible. But together, they quietly steal years of your life without you noticing. And the final habit is the one that silently controls all the others. Habit number 1. Confusing a high income with wealth. Picture two neighbors. One earns twice as much as the other. Luxury SUV. Designer clothes. A beautiful home. The other drives an older car. Lives below his means. Rarely talks about money. Most people instantly assume the first neighbor is richer. But appearances are excellent liars. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what stays. A large paycheck can disappear just as quickly as a small one if every dollar already has a destination. The wealthiest people often look surprisingly ordinary because they buy freedom instead of attention. Every unnecessary expense isn't just money spent. It's future time sold. And once you understand that, you stop asking, "How much do I make?" You start asking, "How much of my life do I actually own?" But that realization leads to another habit almost everyone falls into. Habit number 2. Lifestyle inflation. Remember when your first salary felt life-changing? Then came a raise. Then another. Yet somehow, nothing changed. Because every increase in income was immediately matched by a bigger lifestyle. A nicer apartment. A newer phone. More subscriptions. More expensive dinners. It feels like progress. But it's really adaptation. Like running on a treadmill that speeds up every time you move faster. The destination never gets closer. The problem isn't enjoying success. It's believing every raise deserves a permanent upgrade. Freedom grows when your income rises faster than your spending. Not the other way around. And that brings us to one of the biggest mental traps of modern life. Habit number 3. Buying status instead of value. Here's something most people never realize. Status is one of the most expensive products ever invented. People buy watches they barely need. Cars they'll never fully enjoy. Homes too large to comfortably maintain. Not because those things improve their lives, but because they improve how they appear. The strange part? Everyone they're trying to impress is busy doing exactly the same thing. It's a silent competition where nobody wins. Real confidence doesn't require witnesses. When you stop purchasing approval, you begin purchasing opportunity. Because every dollar no longer spent proving success becomes a dollar invested in creating it. But even people who avoid flashy purchases often fall into the next trap. Habit number 4. Trading only time for money. Imagine owning a bucket. Every hour you work, someone pours water into it. The moment you stop, the flow stops too. That's the reality of relying on only one income source. No matter how skilled you become, time remains limited. The goal isn't to stop working. It's to slowly build systems that continue producing value after today's work is finished. Investments, businesses, digital products, royalties, skills that scale. Freedom begins the moment your money starts working while you sleep. Because your future should never depend entirely on tomorrow morning's alarm. And yet another habit quietly keeps people from ever building those systems. Habit number 5. Waiting for the right time. One day, next month, after the promotion, when the kids grow up, when life slows down. The perfect time has destroyed more dreams than failure ever has. Life rarely becomes less busy. It simply changes its reasons. The entrepreneur never starts. The investor keeps waiting. The writer never writes. The future slowly becomes a museum filled with abandoned intentions. Progress doesn't require perfect conditions. It requires imperfect action. Small steps today almost always outperform perfect plans tomorrow. But even action becomes useless without the next lesson. Habit number 6. Living without a financial destination. Imagine boarding a plane where the pilot announces, "We'll just fly around and see where we end up." You'd never accept that. Yet millions live exactly this way financially. Earn, spend, repeat, without ever defining what freedom actually looks like. How much is enough? When do you want financial independence? What kind of life are you actually building? Money without direction becomes motion without progress. The destination creates the discipline. And discipline becomes easier when you understand the next habit. Habit number 7. Choosing comfort over growth. Comfort is addictive. It whispers, "You've earned a break." Then quietly turns that break into years. Learning new skills feels difficult. Networking feels awkward. Starting a side project feels risky. So people choose familiarity. But comfort zones have invisible walls. Nothing extraordinary grows there for long. Growth almost always feels uncomfortable in the beginning. Just like muscles become stronger through resistance. Financial freedom often begins with temporary discomfort. And speaking of growth, many people unknowingly stop investing in their greatest asset. Habit number 8. Neglecting your skills. Markets change. Technology changes. Industries disappear. The highest paying skill today may become average tomorrow. Yet many people stop learning the moment school ends. Knowledge compounds just like money. Every book, every conversation, every new ability becomes another tool future opportunities can use. Your income rarely outgrows your value for long. Increase your value. And income often follows. But income alone isn't enough if your emotions remain in control. Habit number 9. Making emotional money decisions. Fear tells people to sell at the bottom. Greed convinces them to buy at the top. Stress encourages unnecessary spending. Boredom creates impulse purchases. Money responds poorly to emotion. The wealthiest decisions are often surprisingly boring. Patience, consistency, delayed gratification. Small choices repeated for years usually beat dramatic moves made in a single afternoon, which leads directly into another silent habit. Habit number 10. Chasing shortcuts. Everyone wants the secret investment, the overnight business, the viral opportunity, the shortcut. But shortcuts often become detours. Real wealth usually grows quietly, slowly, almost invisibly, like planting a tree. At first, nothing seems to happen. Then one day, the shade appears because someone was patient years earlier. The question isn't how fast you can become rich. It's how long you can stay consistent. And consistency depends heavily on who surrounds you. Habit number 11. Staying in an environment that normalizes mediocrity. Imagine trying to climb a mountain, while everyone around you insists the view isn't worth it. Eventually, you stop climbing. Our standards quietly become the average of the conversations we hear most often. If everyone complains, you complain. If everyone spends, you spend. If everyone settles, you begin settling too. Protecting your environment isn't arrogance. It's strategy. Surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking, not just your opinions. Because the final habit explains why everything we've discussed either succeeds or collapses. Habit number 12. Building a life you constantly need to escape. Here's the deepest truth. Many people don't actually want wealth. They want relief. Relief from jobs they hate, stress they tolerate, schedules they never chose. That's why vacations feel magical. Not because travel changes life, but because it briefly removes the life they built. Real freedom isn't about retiring early. It's about designing a life you don't constantly need a break from. A career with meaning. Relationships that energize you. Money that creates options instead of obligations. When your daily life becomes something worth waking up for, success stops being a destination. It becomes your normal. The rat race isn't a place. It's a pattern. A pattern repeated, one habit, one decision, one excuse at a time. The good news? Patterns can be broken. Not overnight. Not through luck. But through deliberate choices repeated every single day. You don't need to change your entire life tomorrow. You only need to change the next decision. Because years from now, you'll either thank yourself for starting today, or wonder why you waited so long. The choice has always been yours.